Okay, so for my first commentary on this channel, I've decided to do it based on the game Territory War. This game is free to play. It's just on the internet as long as you have internet access, which obviously you do if you're watching this video. And I'll post a link to the website that I played it off of in the description box down below. It's a simple game. Got one objective, just to kill the enemy team. But seeing the antics of the enemy team, some things the CPU tries to do, and just some of the things that you do yourself, many times just by accident, it can turn this game from just simple stick figure, kind of boring looking game into actually having some fun. The way the battling works is your team always starts off first. You have a certain amount of distance that allows you to travel. That way you can't just walk all the way across the map and kick somebody off the map, shoot them, whichever weapon you decide to use that time. And after traveling your distance, it gives you 4 choices of weapons. Or, not 4 choices of weapons, 3 choices of weapons, and then you can just abstain to do anything and just stand there if you can't throw a grenade. The grenades do have a limited distance, so does the rifle and the other weapons. Well, the grenade is best if you want to try to knock somebody off the map, which I think I do here. No, I go for the headshot on the guy with the rifle. The rifle works best at shorter ranges like this, because with the grenade, you can angle it up or down. Whether like you see, Shoddy here, he's up. So if I really wanted to try to get Bob from there, I'd have to angle my grenade down. You can change the power by holding the spacebar. That's about all it takes. And I go for another headshot and I end up not getting it there. I do take half of Bob's health. The CPU generates their names just automatically. I have my names generated based off of the clan that I play in on Xbox. And you see there, Sorrow gets the headshot. It's not the CPU that controls the rest of you guys. You control your team yourself, and the CPU will take care of their own guys. And at the end of all of these missions, there's 10 missions in the campaign, and I'll be going through each one, so you kind of get a feel for what the mission's going to be like, and if you decide to play, then maybe you'll have an idea of what maybe you should do, what maybe you shouldn't do. And you can see here, and later on, especially on one mission, it's forget the name of the map, it's some outer space mission. I end up blowing like maybe 2-3 of my teammates off the map. And it's kind of hilarious because you're sitting there and it's just, oh damn, I just blew my teammates off the map. That's real helpful. You see here, I got done with that and I went to the next mission. A lot of these missions, it's this one's just another rematch, same thing, but only this time the enemy team has one more guy. They do that a lot. There's a lot of missions where so it'll be 4 on 5, or I know there's one mission where you're on the map called Hill, and it's kind of got the same background as this, and there's just a giant hill in the middle, and you have one on each side of you. That'll be later on. That's, I think, like the 6th or 7th mission. But that's all you really got to do. I mean, you sit here, and these first few missions are kind of boring. You play on the same map. There's 3 maps, I think, that the 4 maps that they use throughout this little campaign. At least that's what it says. Is you use this map here. There's the map called Hill, which I described earlier. There's the one that's outer space. I can't remember their names right now. I'm sure if this leads into having to be a multiple video kind of spiel, I'll make sure to have the names in there for those videos. And then there's one called Junkyard, where it's kind of looks like a just dirty map. There's really not any trash or anything on there. It just looks like a bog. Not necessarily a bog, but just really trashy. And you see, with the grenades, they can blow enemies all over the place. They're good for, if you can place the grenade in the right spot, you can blow them off the map, which happens a lot normally on the space map, which is normally how you can easily kill the first person. I think he blows his teammate Mark, and yeah, he blows his teammate and Mark off, my teammate Shoddy off, so that's perfect example. The rifle I use a lot, and I try to get close to him if you can pull the headshot like that. sometimes it'll be right there and you'll get a headshot, and then sometimes it'll be in the exact same spot on somebody else's head and you won't get a headshot. But it just doesn't bother me. I mean, I normally always have one guy left over. And then the third attack choice, which maybe isn't so, what's the word I'm looking for, conventional most of the time, is the boot. The boot's good for if you're close to the edge, you can try to kick him off, or later on, I was in Junkyard and there was a guy up top and I only had one of my teammates up there. And so I had him just walk over there and kick the two guys, and they ended up landing on a different platform. And I had to wait for it to cycle all the way through my guys again until I could kick them down with the rest of my guys, and then I was able to finish it off. But it takes turns here. You can see your team takes one first, and it won't always go in the same order. You'll see later on in each video I go first, and then Shoddy will go, and then it'll cycle through whoever else is there. It normally goes like Vidar, Shoddy, then Sorrow, Karth, Wrath, and then later on in the very last mission, it's a 6-on-6 fight, and so I have another one of our members in there, Nick. I just joined him in, and you'll see these missions. This is a 2-on-2. The next mission I think is another 3-on-4. But what it does is, unfortunately, it'll erase the names of whoever else you put in there. That's really the only annoying part about the game, is you have to keep putting their names in sometimes. But the nice thing about it is, even though it is an online game, and so that might discourage players from being like, oh, I can just sit there and play it once, and my info's gone. Well, unlike most of the online games like that, this one has an autosave feature where after you play through, whatever you get done, if you leave the website and you go back to that game later, it doesn't matter what website it's on. I know I'm definitely playing on a different website this time. I found it somewhere else the previous time. It's just all over the internet. And it still had all my missions completed and everything done, so I ended up actually erasing the save data on there so that I could play through without having to worry about that. And what it does, though, is even though it may erase it, it'll still keep any names you had there. Because in the options, you can change the quality that it is. And like I said, you can hit the Q, or I should say, you can hit the Q button, and that'll also change it. As I found, because later on I went to hit the 1 button, because each of the little options has a hotkey. If you look at it, it's got a 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the hotkeys. And I went to hit the 1. I accidentally hit the Q because I wasn't paying attention. And I ended up changing the quality around. So later on you end up actually getting to see the quality. You see here I'm typing the name back in. If you just try to tab it from that person's name, it goes back up to your team name, which it's kind of inconvenient because I'm just used to typing it in and then hitting the tab key. But it's okay. We can't always have what we want. And here, I accidentally skipped through because I was trying to show that you can use the mouse to click it. You don't have to use the hotkeys. And I ended up accidentally skipping right over my chance to move, which probably turns out for the better because I like to sometimes keep my team together depending on the map. Because if not, it doesn't work as well because then your guys are spread out. But at the same time, it works well because you see in some of these maps, their guys get bunched up together, and it's when they're bunched, the grenade is a great tool because it'll throw them all over the place. I think at one point I killed 2 or 3 of their guys with 1 grenade by blowing them off the map. And just the more damage you get on their team, the better. And up at the top, as I'm sure you've already noticed, it shows how many team members each team has and the overall team's health. And each little bit of damage to each character does just a tiny bit to the bar, but with each death, there's a major difference. You see there, I was deciding with Karth whether or not, I wanted to throw a grenade, and I decided against it because I figured he wouldn't be able to throw it far enough, and I would just grenade Vidar and end up killing myself. That's one of the hilarious things about watching this is you see the enemy team, they'll kill their own opponents just by accident many times. I think at one point one of them accidentally headshot the other one because it just kind of speeds through shooting sometimes, and it ended up getting a headshot in its own guy, which is all fine and dandy. It would have just saved me a turn for having to worry about him. And you see Sorrow just gets knocked around like a ragdoll there. Some of these, especially the boot, when you kick somebody, some of those are hilarious. I know later on, I think it was Nick who got kicked. I'm not sure. He got kicked and he flew forward, hit a wall, and he bounces like 15 feet back. It was just hilarious. It's later on. I think that was on the map Junkyard, actually. Well, I don't think I'll actually talk for the rest of these maps. It's just all it is just a campaign. I'll probably overlay some music. I'll try to find something I have that actually works well with something like this. I think Sorrow dies here. Yeah, there's Sorrow dead. The game, not necessarily long. That's actually the only reason it took me so long to get through it this time is because I deleted everything I had. And I hadn't played this game in, I don't know, months, maybe a year, actually. And then I got bored one day of playing Xbox. I was like, you know what, I need something new to play. Let's go see what they have, on the internet. Got any new games? And I ran across this one again. I was like, oh, this game. And I got bored and decided, why don't I just do a commentary on this, get other people playing this, because it's a pretty fun game. Spread the love. But said I'll put a link in the comments, description, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me, and go give it a shot. You can't just boom headshot. Sorry about that. I just saw that up there at the top in the little video and I just had to say it. But